Adrian, you there? So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1 tonight. Slightly different format this evening. We're not going to be broadcasting live to YouTube, unfortunately, a bit of a technical issue, but we are broadcasting live on Mixer. And as always, joined in the commentary box, I am, just my Yoda introduction again, by Adrian. Good evening, Adrian.
Evening, Eddie. Evening, Eddie. Good to be here. Free.
Yeah, indeed, we are. And got the old message board going mad here, but I'm going to have to ignore that. Okay, so we are here in China. This is season 6 of F1 Tonight, Netherlands. Race 3 here at China. Quickly run through the Drivers' Championship for you. Leading the way for McLaren is Baz de Bruijn on 28 points. Second is Zander Hermans in the Rocket Williams on 26 points. Third is Nicky Visser in that Red Bull on 25 points. John Donkel is currently fourth on 21 points. Guido Urschen is fifth on 20 points. Then we have Dami Hartmann 6, Marcel Dronig 7, 8 Hans Anderberg, 9 Boy Wilson, 10 Mark Stappers, 11 Marco Pullen, 12 Nishay Mahadwa Singh, 13 Peter Phillips, 14 Martin Paardekooper, 15 Miguel Tourney, 16 Remco Hunting, 17 Marcel France, 18 Paul Quaret and 19 Jamie Collane. We don't have all the drivers with us this evening, so we are unfortunately missing the Renault team. So we have no Nishay Mahadwa Singh or Marcel France. Also Paul Quaret for Haas is not racing, and Miguel Tourney for Alfa Romeo. What does that mean? Well, it means that how many drivers have we got? We've got 13 drivers actually. I can see on here.
15. We've got 15.
Oh, how come I can't see them? Oh, there they are. Sorry, I do apologise. 15. So those 15 drivers will all be going through into Q2. So we haven't missed any action at all.
We've missed a little
Sorry,
bit.
Adrian.
Remco Hunting went into the wall at the very sort of the last couple of seconds of Q1, so he will not be able to participate. And I believe Damien Hartman actually, I think he DNF'd on track. So he
oh right, that's why I saw those two greyed out then. That explains that then. Okay, so those two drivers, Remco Hunting and Damien Hartman, last season's winner actually, Damien. They will not be participating, so they will be starting 14th and 15th respectively on the grid. So that's going to be interesting, especially for Damien. He's going to be looking to try and come back from that, isn't he?
Yep. And there's a few drivers that actually relish in the fight from the back of the grid, and he's one of them. So yeah, expect him to gain lots of places in the race.
Indeed. Right, we're on board with Martin Parder-Cooper in the Alfa Romeo. He's on his outlap, and actually, let's get the data up there. That's what I'm looking for. So we'll wait till he comes round, and then we'll actually go on board with him for his fast lap. I didn't get a chance to do the introduction, Adrian, obviously, and discuss the track, etc. Quite a tricky track, though, isn't it? Just to quickly run through it, the track itself is where am I? 16 corners, 3 sectors. Sector 1 takes us just up to past turn 5. Sector 2 takes us from just beyond turn 5 to just before turn 11. And the final sector is the fastest sector, takes us from 11 to the start-finish line. Bit tricky of a track. We are on board now with Martin Parder, who's just coming round. So, Adrian, before he comes round and we do the fast lap and go through the track, it's a track of 3 very different sectors, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You've got that very sort of technical first sector. The opening couple of corners. It's so difficult to get that long right-hander right. It just gets tighter and tighter. So yeah, very easy to lose the back end on the exit. If you don't go wide before that.
And we're just on board now with Martin Parder-Cooper. He's coming round. That turn 1 leads into the turn 2. It's what I call the snail turn, because you're basically drawing a picture of a snail on the track. Round our left-hander of turn 3, into slight left, turn 4. A little bit of a kink right as he comes over the crest of the hill, turn 5. Leads him down now to turn 6, more or less a hairpin. You've got to really hit that apex, get on the left-hand side, accelerate out. And then you come to the long sweeping left of turn 7.
My favourite corner here, turn 7.
And then turn 8, sweeping right, a little bit shorter. Then you've got the left kink of 9. Now in sector 2, round turn 10, long straight. Going to the final sector 3 now as you come down to hard uphill left. Going into a sweeping right of turn 12. Into another right there of turn 13. Lay down the power because you've got a long old straight. DRS will activate there on that line, and that will take you to a few metres short of the turn 14 hairpin. There you go. You've got a little kink right out of 15. Leads you down. The pit entry is straight ahead of you, and then you've got that hard left 16. Takes you back onto that start-finish straight. DRS, second DRS, takes you down that start-finish straight. Over the line, and falls short just at the end of the pit, and then you go back into turn 1. So that's a quick little round of the track. Sorry, I just quickly jumped in there, but you were saying obviously that first sort of snail turn, those turns 1, 2 and 3, when you're coming in from that high speed from the start finish straight, it can be really tricky, can't it?
Yeah, it can be, particularly if your tyres aren't up to temperature. And if you're just pushing them just a couple of miles now, a few k's too quickly around that bend, and as I say, just a bit too early on the power, and you can very easily lose either the front or the rear tyres.
Yeah, Absolutely. And while we were talking, and a number of drivers gone out there, McLaren taking 1-2 at the moment with their times. Basden Bryan is doing a 1:32.382. His teammate Guido Urschen 1:32.969. So they're in the 1:32s. Next closest was Nicky Visser on a 1:33.486. That's actually been beaten by Marcel Dronig in the Rocket Williams there with a 1:33.1. Then we have Mark Stappers in the Ferrari, 1:33.6. He's on the softs. Zander Hermans in the second Rocket Williams, 1:33.9. Hans van der Berg in the Toro Rosso, 1:34. Boy Williamson in the Red Bull, 1:34. Marco Pullen in a Mercedes, 1:34. John Donkel in a Ferrari, 1:34. And his teammate as well, Peter Phillips in the Haas, still to set a time, as is Jamie Collane, who's still in the pit. Interesting sort of start. I mean, we've still got just under 10 minutes remaining, so I'm expecting those times to come down. But those faster times obviously set on the soft. But Nicky Visser there, last week's winner, convincing winner, I've got to say, in Bahrain, setting a 1:33.4 on the mediums. So he's a little bit under what the ballpark would be, isn't he? He's setting a good pace on those mediums.
Yeah, it's decent pace. It's nowhere near sort of what we're going to see in Q3, obviously on the soft tyres. But yeah, he's I'd say he's probably perhaps not relaxing with that lap, but he's a second off the pace of Baz de Bruyne. But then I suppose he knows that only 3 are going to drop out. Doesn't necessarily need to push too hard, and he wants to make these medium tyres last in the first stint. Might be trying to do a long first stint, Nicky.
Yep. Could well be. And in the meantime, Peter Phillips has set a time, a 1:34.274. So just to remind you, those people that are relatively new to F1 or may not necessarily be familiar with the rules, 3 qualifications. You normally start with a field of 20. Q1, you go from 20 to 15. Q2, you go from 15 to 10. Those 10 then going into the final Q or qualification, Q3, to define where they will actually sit on the grid. So the top 10 here will go through to the next Q. The following 3 that we have at the moment, that if they don't obviously get within that top 10, they will be in places 11, 12 and 13. We already have obviously 14 and 15 taken by those drivers that unfortunately went out in Q1. So that's the name of the game. Those who do qualify in the top 10 have to start the race on the same tyre with which they set their fast lap in this Q2 session. Those who are outside of that top 10 do have a free choice of tyre. John Donkel was playing around with the thought of going on to the hards, decided to actually go out now on the softs. No real value, I think, in this track on the hard tyre, is there, Adrian?
Not particularly. No, I absolutely can't stand the hard tyre at China. John may have just jumped out onto the track because of the sort of few spots of rain seen. There was a rumour there would be rain at the end of, or perhaps sort of closer to Q3.
Right.
But yeah, he's obviously, because he knows he's not going to set a competitive time on the intermediates, he might as well get a lap out there on the soft tyre.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with regards to that. But
depending
we'll
how
keep
hard,
an eye on that.
How hard and how quickly the rain actually falls. So occasionally you can do a few laps without, while it's raining, without it actually being wet.
Yeah, because it all depends on obviously how damp the track effectively gets, because on the racing line it's possible that it could be quite dry because of the heat that's generated, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, some tracks just typically have better drainage than others, and yeah, as you say, it just depends on track temperature as well. That can help with evaporation.
All factors that come into play. And as much in the real world as they do here in the sim world, these factors do come into play. The game is designed that way. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. John Donkel out now, but a little bit too damp, I think.
Yeah, this isn't a hot lap for him at all. He's in mode 0.
No,
he's really
definitely
backed
not.
off. I'm not sure what his plan is at the moment.
I think to get round and get in those pits as quickly as possible. He's got just over 5 minutes remaining of this queue. He's currently sitting in P11, not where he wants to be, and his teammate is in P12. So I think they're going to be looking to try and come out in the intermediates, but even so, those intermediates are going to be tricky, aren't they? They're not going to be able to qualify faster than that 1:34.179 by Marco Pullen in the Mercedes, I think.
Yeah, the Inters definitely won't do that. I just need to make a little correction. Stappers is in the Alpha, John's in the Ferrari.
Sorry, dearie me, and Jamie Collane just bins it on the mediums, and he was coming round. I'm not actually certain where that turn was, because that was a hard left. I wonder if that's not turn 11. It looks like it's down towards the chicane. So, don't know if he was coming into pits and went wrong there. I think that could well have been it. But we'll see where that is on track.
Seen a few drivers actually squirm around the track on these on the dry tyres. Yeah, I think the water is starting to build on the track.
Yeah,
quite
definitely.
Quite a bit of
John Donkel all over the place coming out of turn 4. He's going into 5 now, coming down into 6. But look at that. Oh, straight on. No grip at all with those tyres. Wheel spinning around there. No, that's it. And this is tragic, because that means that Ferrari will be starting in P11 and 12. They'll be back in the 6th row. Not what they were looking for at this moment in time. I mean, to give you a quick indication, although we're on race 3, it's still very tight in the Constructors' Championship. McLaren are leading the way on 48. Rocket Williams are second on 41, Red Bull are third on 36, and Ferrari are fourth on 31. So still valuable points there, aren't there, to be had?
Yeah, there are. I mean, you've still got Stappers in the Ferrari in P5. He's going through.
Oh, sorry, I do apologise. Stappers, yes, I do apologise. I'm so used to having him in the Alfa Romeo that I keep saying Martin Parder-Cooper. Yeah, exactly. Getting them a bit wrong there. As you can tell, the team colours somewhat close, and I wasn't thinking there. So I was thinking season 5 rather than season 6.
They've kind of done
Stappers has gone out. Stappers has gone out. Stappers, has he gone out, or has he just jumped? Oh,
yeah, I think he's retired in track. Yeah,
he's happy with that.
Yeah.
Yep. So Stappers in the Ferrari, sorry, I do apologise, will be actually starting in row 3. Well, he's not starting row 3 P5. He's got P5 in Q2. So he's going through. John Donkel, unfortunately, will not be going through, nor will Martin Parder-Cooper in the Alfa Romeo this season. So he's not going through. So they'll be starting 11 and 12 respectively. Jamie Collane will be starting on 13. Now, Adrian, I mean, are we seeing this range, do you think, going through to Q3?
Yeah, I think it's quite likely that Q3 will be completely wet for the entire session. And as I say that, I'll be proven completely wrong that it's going to be bone dry.
But looking on here, interesting point. Nicky Visser and Sander Hermans, as well as Marco Pullen, will actually be starting on the mediums. But more importantly, Nicky Visser is going to be starting this race on a medium set of tyres.
Yeah, we all know how that went for him at the last race when he started on mediums in Bahrain.
Yeah, but it's quite a different track though. I mean, as I said, 3 very different sectors. First sector, low speed, predominantly low speed corners. And then you go into the middle sector, you've got long sweeping turns. So you've got a lot more pace in the car. And then the final sector is basically foot down really. You've got a rolling sort of turn into the start of it and a couple of low speed turns, but most of it really is just pedal to the metal, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that long right, that sort of double apex of turn 12 and 13. It's sort of a banked corner. It's one of the very few banked corners in Formula 1.
Very tricky. That.
It is. Yeah, you have to be very patient on the throttle, just on the exit. That's very tempting to just try and floor it. Somewhat
reminds me of Catalonia, actually. When you're in the third sector as well, as you're coming round that tight left-hander after the DRS straight. I think, actually, that's turn 10, I think it's 11 or 12. and then you suddenly come round, then you've got that uphill sort of round to the right, and you've got to be careful sometimes when you lay down the power coming to that. So it's somewhat reminiscent of that corner, isn't it, in Catalonia?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, reverse camber on that. Of course, it's positive camber here in China.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Okay, so that's that Q2 session done. We will be going through to Q3. So through are both the McLarens, Baz Den Breyen and Guido Oeschgen. The Williams of Marcel Dronig, Nicky Visser in the Red Bull, Mark Stappers in the Ferrari, Peter Phillips in the Haas, Sander Hermans in the Williams, Hans van der Berg in the Toro Rosso, Boy Williamson in the Red Bull, and Marco Pullen in the Mercedes. P11 will be the Ferrari of John Donkel, 12 Martin Parder Cooper in the Alfa Romeo, and P13 row 7 will be the Racing Point of Jamie Culhane.
Remco Hunting has left the session. Hopefully he's coming back for the start of the race.
One would certainly hope so.
Yeah, look at that heavy rain now. That's the thing,
so
when
these
it rains
guys are going to have to go out in the full wets.
When it rains in China, it really pours down.
Yeah, that's very true, actually. It certainly does. So I'm pretty sure the drivers will be on the wets. I don't think there's going to be too much doubt of that. And
coming out on the Inters, actually.
On the Inters? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nicky Visser has decided to come out on the Inters. Interesting choice for him.
And that's what Jeff has suggested to them all at the moment. Unusual.
So let's get some telemetry data. Actually, I've got no sound coming up, which is interesting. Yeah, everyone's gone on the Inters.
Yeah, it looks a bit too wet for me for Innes, although there is a bit of a dry line on that racing line. I don't know how long that's going to last.
Okay, this is interesting. I've got no sound coming across. Now, I know this happens before, but I can't remember what the fix is for it.
Just press your guide button. Press your guide button back out twice. Still, press it again, back out twice.
So the main Xbox button, yeah?
Yeah.
Still thin. Alright, I'm going to quit to main menu. If you can invite me back in again. Oh. Yep, I'll have to quit to main menu. So bear with me a second. We're having lots of fun this evening. Okay, joining session. And spectate. Okay, so we're back in again. Full sound. We're looking good. Drivers out on track. Hans van der Berg. Nobody said a time as yet. We're on board with Hans van der Berg. Let's watch him as he comes around turn 1. You can see the line there, so I can see why they've gone for the intermediate. But look at that. Goes off, and you can see the standing water there as he's coming round 2, down into 3. As soon as they get off that line, it's well, they're going to be swimming, basically, or aquaplaning, one of the two.
Yep, indeed. Both the Red Bulls were first out on the track, by the way. Williamson will be first across the line, followed quickly by Visser.
Well, let's go with them then. And Boy Williamson coming around turn 8 now.
Sorry, other way around. Sorry, Visser first.
Turn 9. Oh, Nicky was ahead, so Nicky's actually coming round 13 now onto the straight. This is that long straight. Obviously no DRS is activated, so DRS is only activated during dry conditions. So no DRS under intermediate or wet conditions as he comes now into that hairpin of 14, round 15, coming down now to the start-finish line. What's he going to do in this Red Bull? Now it's really important for Nicky that he gets up at the front of that grid, isn't it?
He's definitely going to be up there. Yeah,
149.9.
That middle sector alone is some 7/10 faster than anybody.
Boy Williamson coming round now. Oh, power sliding out of 16 onto the straight there. And Boy Williamson goes faster with a 149.724, so 0.2 faster than his teammate. Hans van der Berg coming round the final corner now, and he's got Marcel Dronig behind him. And Dronig does a 150.7, Van der Berg 157.2, Zander Hermans 150.1. So the Williams looking strong at the moment in the wet. Guido Urschen comes across 150. Bas den Breyen coming up now. Coming down to that hairpin 14. What can Den Breyen do? Taking it very easy. It's not looking a particularly fast time, I think, actually. Let's look at that. What was 144, 145. He could be looking good. 148, 149, 150.7. So Bas den Breyen, very fast driver, but he's not so comfortable in wet conditions, is he?
No, it doesn't seem to be, no. I mean, it's incredibly experienced Season 2 champion, of course, Bas den Breyen. But, yeah, it doesn't seem to particularly enjoy wet conditions.
No, definitely not. Those conditions are not sitting in this moment. We're actually with Mark Stappers in the Ferrari as he comes down that long straight towards turn 14. What can he do?
It's going to be about
he's going to be 150.
Yeah, it'll be 151.4, I'm going to guess. Based on
really?
pace.
Is that a guess, really, Adrian?
Yeah.
Or is that what's predicted?
Educated guess.
154.4. You were only 3 seconds out.
Yeah. I obviously gave him more credit than was due.
You did, didn't you? Marco Pullen's gone into the pits. He's not happy with that. And Hans van der Berg.
Final sector from Stafford is the 2.5 slower than the rest of the field.
Wow. So, number of drivers coming into the pits. Both the Red Bulls are in. Both the Williams. They're sitting pretty at this moment. Guido Urschen for McLaren is in. Peter Phillips for Haas is in. Bas den Breyen, though, is staying out. So he's going for it again. Oh, goes far too deep on 14 there. Carrying far too much speed. Wasn't able to brake in time. Yeah, and he's into the pits. Yeah, he's not much point in continuing with that one.
This is fuel. We haven't got enough fuel to do another lap. I think he was planning to do one.
Stapper's power sliding round on the exit of 13, it looked like.
Yeah, again, not fantastic form from Stappers at the moment.
No, 120 at this moment in time, 121. He's definitely swinging and swaying there at this moment. They're coming down the straight.
It looks like it might be a setup issue. I think he's got it set obviously completely dry, as you would, because the race is expected to be dry throughout. But he's just struggling to just find any kind of grip. Grip in these wet conditions.
Yeah, definitely. Coming over the line, yeah, it's going to be about 156. Oh, 155.997. So, not great run there from him. Now, the question is, what do you do? Nicky Visser is going back out again.
Yep. You know, I said earlier on, Visser's middle sector was 7/10 faster than anyone. That's still true. Visser has the fastest middle sector, but Boy was a whole second faster than Visser in the last sector. Hence why he's 2/10 up on him.
Wow, a whole second faster. So Nicky obviously preferring that middle sector with the sweeping turns, and I guess if you get your line right and you get your throttle right, it's not a bad little sector that to make time up in, is it?
Yep. That's the thing with wet conditions. There's so much time to be made and lost, just anywhere, pretty much on any track. Because they're so unpredictable when it's like this. Few drivers now on the wet tyres.
Yeah, Visser lost it as he was going into 11, 12, and that's actually where we saw Jamie Collane come off earlier. I couldn't quite make out because of the camera angle, but that's where it was. So he's having a few problems there. Let's watch him into 14 now. Takes it really gingerly, but look, still going deep in there, aren't they? Really tough, really tough that.
Yeah, it's just so difficult. Personally, I really hate driving in the rain. I want to enjoy it because I know that lots of other people struggle with it. I think it might be my. So it's one opportunity to do well when others struggle, but I'm struggling myself at the moment.
I've got to say, I'm not a lover of wet conditions. You have to really. It's a different driving style. You've got to really. How can I put it? You've got to be using a higher gear than you normally would, for instance, into corners, etc. But you've got to have the right approach speed as well, and then you've got to be careful because you don't want to slide, nor do you want to lock up. So it's very difficult to measure.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes for an exciting qualifying race, though, doesn't it? the rain.
Yeah, because it's mixed it up. I mean, certainly Nicky Visser is where he needs to be. Although that said, obviously Boy Williamson at this moment is that provisional P1. Who are you going to call, actually? We haven't said who we were going to call for that pole position. Who are you going to go for?
I think I'd like to give it to one of the Red Bulls. I don't think it will be a Red Bull, though. I think it's going to be a Williams, and I think it's going to be Sanders. Sander Hermans.
Well,
at the moment.
I've got to say, and Hans van der Berg has retired from the session. I'm actually going to go with Nicky Visser.
Yeah.
And we're on board with Bas den Bruyne now. He's just starting his fast lap.
Good call to go with Nicky. He's definitely in form at the moment.
Oh, definitely. Plus, I've got to support my co-commentator for F1 Tonight UK.
That's right. and in theory, I should be supporting him for the Super League as well, because we're all Red Bull.
Yeah, that's true. Now, then Brian is actually out on the full wets. So that's what you were referring to earlier. And indeed, Den Brian, Dronig, and Urshan and Peter Phillips all out on the wets.
Yeah, Phillips is on an improved
Not too sure
lap.
how it's working.
Phillips is on an improved lap on those wet tyres.
Well, I've got to say, the thing is with the wets is you can afford to go, in fact you need to go off that racing line to actually cool down the tyres somewhat.
Yeah.
And then Brian is sticking very much to that racing line, so I'm wondering if he's actually going to break that when he comes out of 13 here, down that long straight, whether he's just going to go on to the damper side of the track just to get there. He is doing exactly that, and you can see he's just gone off the racing line there, just to cool the tyres down just a little bit so that you get better use out of them effectively, because these wet tyres are grooved tyres. And certainly a lot cleaner around that final corner there, but it's not making much of a difference on time. He's going to be quicker, but not significantly. Oh no, he's not actually. He's actually slower by about a tenth.
Yeah. Interesting point about
the.
Interesting point about the
tyre
temps. I was just going to say about tyre temps, because obviously the dry compound tyres normally sort of operate about 95 to 100 degrees C. These wet tyres, the operating temperature is about 60. You can see, I can see at least that the Brien's tyres are sort of well over 70 degrees, which might be way
far too hot.
Yeah,
far too hot. And in the meantime there, Boy Williamson has actually taken the pole. So Boy Williamson will be starting pole, or that 149.7. His teammate Nicky Visser will be alongside him. Couldn't better that lap. They did stay on the intermediates. So it's a lockout for Red Bull in that front row and a lockout for Williams in the second row. Great run there. Sander Hermans, who you were calling for P1, I mean, certainly a good run, a 150.1, and his teammate a 150.7, so only 6/10 between them. Good result there for Williams.
Yeah, big result there. Especially Droning as well. I've noticed Droning's really sort of found some pace this season that he perhaps didn't have so much. Didn't have so much last season, or even in his races. You know, he was fighting for P3 for much of Bahrain. Unlucky to not get it at the end. I think he finished P5.
Yes, he did in the end, but he's still doing well. I mean, he's currently 7th in the Drivers' Championship, so not to be sniffed at. Now, this is going to be interesting off the start, though, Adrian, isn't it? Because remember, Nicky Visser is going to be on those medium tyres, so the grid will be P1, row 1, Boy Williamson in the Red Bull. Alongside him will be his teammate Nicky Visser. Row 2, P3, Zander Hermans and Williams. Alongside him, his teammate Marcel Dronig. McLaren lockout actually for row 3 as well. Basden Brayan will be P5, his teammate P6. So team lockouts for the front 3 rows. Haas, Peter Phillips will be 7. Hans van der Burg for Toro Rosso will be P8, row 4, and row 5, P9, Mark Stapper's in the Ferrari, and alongside him will be Marco Pullen in the Mercedes. Now that's a really interesting grid, isn't it? Look at that. Red Bull, Williams, McLaren.
Yeah, it's quite unusual in online racing to see teams match like that. I think it's
very unusual.
Sorry to interrupt, Eddie. I think there's a bit of an issue with the lobby. I noticed a few drivers have dropped out. In fact, they're all dropping out. Okay. The session's being restarted.
So the lobby or the session may well be restarted. So don't go away. We're going to stay here, and we're going to have a little discussion about how we think this race is going to pan out. Because at this moment in time, those 3 teams are basically, it's sort of reverse order. McLaren actually leading the constructors, Williams are in 2nd, and Red Bull are in 3rd. But the lineup we've got for the grid is Red Bull will be in the 1st row, Williams will be in the 2nd row, and McLaren will be in the 3rd row. I mean, they are all very close. Red Bull on 36, Williams on 41, and McLaren on 48. And it's got to be said, obviously, a lot of points can be picked up here by the teams by finishing and getting on that pole position. So that's what they're all going to be aiming for, aren't they, Adrian?
Yeah, that's right. I think at Bahrain, actually, the front 2 is exactly the same here as it was there. Nicky obviously winning from 2nd spot as Boy went off at turn 1 and never fully recovered from that. But yeah. I mean, obviously, obviously Red Bull want the points. I think if they can keep their heads down, just keep their noses clean in the first turn, I think they'll be good to go.
I'm inclined to agree with you on that one, Agent. I think they will be good to go. It's just going to be tough. I mean, Nicky obviously looking to, I suppose, cash in on how he performed last week in Bahrain. It was an inspired race from him, but also a strategy as well. And he seems as if he's going to be going for a similar strategy here.
Yeah, it could well be. Yeah, I know that Nicky had worked hard on that strategy and his setup as well. But yeah, absolutely dominant display we saw at the last race. Nearly 40 seconds he won by. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. Well, 38 seconds was the gap effectively that he had at the end of that race, and it was a phenomenal one. But he's not going to be able to do a one stop here, is he? I mean, China, you're going to be hard pushed to do a one stop. In fact, I don't think you could do one.
No, I don't think so. I'll be honest. I have not done my testing at China yet. I normally do that at the weekend in preparation for the Tuesday's race. But I don't imagine a one-stop being viable at China.
No, I can't say that I do. But what I do see, though, is a possible. I mean, it could go either way. Starting on the mediums, I suspect that he's going to be looking at a medium soft option, but I guess you could look at a medium soft as well, couldn't you? Because this track, it does punish those tyres. So, maybe mediums to see you sort of through 3/4 of the race, 2 sets of mediums, and then finish off on a nice fresh set of softs.
Yeah. I think Nicky did a medium soft at Bahrain as well. But yeah, you might be able to get away with medium soft. That seems a little bit too aggressive strategy for me, but it might work.
Well, it all depends how deep they can go on those mediums, but the more I think about it, actually, I think it's more likely to be a medium soft. Sorry, I was under the impression that Nicky did a one-stop in Bahrain. I've obviously got that wrong.
No, I'm fairly sure it was a 2, wasn't it? I have to look back at the stream. I'm sure it was a 2.
You can tell that we've prepared copiously on the previous streams, but they sort of... You remember the fine points, don't you? You may not remember the details, but you remember the finer points. So the drivers are now getting back into the lobby, so I'm sure we'll be underway shortly. It's going to be a tough one. Where do we expect to see incidents? I mean, clearly, we're going to likely see that in that first sector on the start of the race. Once the race gets going, where are the areas or the corners that you think we could see drivers encountering problems or having issues, Adrian?
Well, for me, it's turn 1, and also turn sort of the banked corner of turn 12.
11, 12.
Yeah, 11, 12. Sorry,
11, 12,
13. I think those are those would be your sort of ones for the spectators. I think if you're gonna go to that race, just kind of sit around there. Plenty of cars.
Definitely. And I mean, certainly that snail corners or set of corners 1, 2, and 3. You're going to see issues on that. Where do you think we're going to see some interesting overtakes?
Well, the overtakes is absolutely down the DRS straight, the back straight, just after that bank corner. Plenty of passes down there. There should be fairly easy passes. I think that's over a kilometre long. That straight, it's the second longest straight in F1. First longest being at Baku. Yep,
that is indeed, and that's soon to be overtaken by Vietnam, of course, next year.
Yes, yes, indeed. Looking forward to that one. But, yeah.
That's going to be an interesting one. For myself, I've got to say, I'm expecting to see some overtakes actually out of 3 and 4 as they're coming out of that snail. I think that's from what I can remember. We've seen some interesting overtakes there, and I expect to see the same again. And the other one as well, I guess. Really, I'm just trying to think where else there is, but I can't really think of anywhere. I think that's going to be a great overtaking zone, and maybe out of 6 as they're sort of coming into 6, out of 6 into 7. So that the end or the start of sector 1, or I suppose the whole sector 1, really, you got a good opportunity. But definitely out of 3, 4, I'm expecting to see some good challenges as drivers get alongside there, coming maybe round 5 and down into 6. I don't know what your thoughts are on that one, Adrian.
It's not a commonplace for me to attempt an overtake, but it's certainly doable there. And if they don't get the right exit out of 3, you can find yourself sort of spinning up the wheels and being passed before turn 4.
Well, we're soon to find out. The drivers basically what they've had to do is reload all their setups, also make sure that they're on the tyres that they should be starting on, just to make sure that everything is done properly, because it has to be completely reset. And thank you once again, Codemessers, for giving us such a secure game for multiplayer. We really appreciate it. So
nice.
This is F1 Tonight. We are not live on YouTube, but when you watch this, we probably will be, but not live. It'll be recorded, but we'll be back on there. And you'll have the graphics, because we won't have graphics on this one here with the mixer. But never mind, what counts is this commentary team that makes it come alive for you. And I've got to say, Adrian, you're doing a great job, mate.
I think it's about 90-10 in your favour at the moment. Carrying the team as usual.
That's only because I don't let you get a word in edgeways, Adrian. You've learned to butt in beautifully. I've got to say, your butting in skills have definitely improved.
Well, it was either improve or get out.
Or wither.
Yeah.
Wither in the shade. Okay, so drivers getting ready in their cars now. The sweat is starting to accumulate. And Adrian, I've got to say, Adrian, if for those that are unfamiliar, obviously he is my co-commentator here on F1 Tonight Netherlands. Has been for, about a good couple of seasons now, isn't it, Adrian, I think?
Yeah, we're coming up for 2 seasons. I think I've done about 30 races with you.
Oh my God, you poor soul. So he is actually driving in F1 Tonight UK, raced at Bahrain on Tuesday. Again, we had some little technical issues with the sound this time, but not for the main race, so you can catch that on YouTube. Make sure you give it a go. Adrian, it wasn't quite the race you were looking for, unfortunately, but what are your feelings? How do you think it's going for Red Bull? Not great at the moment, but for F1 Tonight UK overall.
Well, yeah. For Red Bull, I just say we haven't had the best run so far. 4 DNFs within the 2 races for the 2 of us. I myself haven't completed more than 12 laps. Haven't quite made it to my first pit stop in F1 Tonight UK, but there's still time.
There's still time. There is still time. There are 19 races remaining.
But yeah, as a whole, F1 Tonight UK is doing amazingly well. We've got 15 drivers on the roster at the moment, 6 more to be tested at the weekend. It should. We're looking good for full grids going forward.
I was about to say, does this mean we could have a full grid for Baku?
We're absolutely. We'll have a full grid and drivers still wanting in and waiting to take seats that are spare. So
fantastic. Well, do keep contacting us. We will have obviously season 2 coming along in a few months' time. In the meantime, do have fun watching the streams. We hope you enjoy them as much as we do when we don't have technical issues, but still. But we are here, and definitely, if you're interested in taking part, do contact us, and you can follow the links, or otherwise just message ourselves in Xbox if you wish to. The drivers obviously preparing, getting underway for the start of this race. We mentioned the F1 Tonight UK. F1 Tonight UK race on a Tuesday evening. So the China race for F1 Tonight will be this coming Tuesday, and that will be the 17th. So watch out for that. That's 7:30 broadcast start. And tonight, obviously, we are with F1 Tonight Netherlands, the original F1 Tonight League, racing on a Thursday night, and that's 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time. So remember that, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you want to watch the races in succession with the leagues, then Netherlands kick off the races and UK follow on the Tuesday. So that's where we are today. We are here at the Shanghai International Circuit as the drivers line up for the processional lap. And we're just going to have a quick here. And let's have a look.
Just while you're doing that, sorry. Before you continue, I just want to. I promised someone I would give them a little shout out on the F1 Tonight Netherlands stream, and that's a chap called Harvey Harris, who you may remember already applied to join F1 Tonight UK, but
Indeed.
we had to decline him because he wasn't able to commit to the full season as he's joining the Navy. So yeah, big shout out to Harvey. I know he'll be watching this stream when it does go on YouTube.
Indeed,
yeah.
Harvey.
Thanks very much.
We're looking forward to having you joining us, hopefully in season 2. But big shout out to Harvey. Hope you enjoy the race. So, at this moment in time, Boy Williamson will be starting P1 row 1 for Red Bull. Alongside him will be his teammate Nicky Visser. Row 2, P3, Zander Hermans in the Williams. Alongside him will be Marcel Dronig, his teammate in that Williams. Then we have row 3, P5, Baz Den Bryan in the McLaren. And alongside him will be his teammate Guido Urshan. Then we have row 4, P7, Peter Phillips in the Haas. Then alongside him we have P8, Hans van der Berg in the Toro Rosso. Let's watch out for this guy. Van der Berg not been in any races. Has he been in any races? No, I don't think he has actually. Or certainly missed one. Missed last week, Bahrain. Then row 5, P9, we have Mark Stappers in that Ferrari. Alongside him will be the Mercedes of Marco Pullen. Row 6, P11, John Dunkel in the Ferrari. Alongside him will be Martin Parder-Cooper in the Alfa Romeo. Row 7, P13, Jamie Collane in the Racing Point. I think that is his first race of the season. Then alongside him we have Remco Hunting in the McLaren, new driver to this season. And bring out the rear, Damie Hartman in the Toro Rosso, P15, not where he wants to be. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he does. He's on the mediums there. So drivers lining up on the grid. As we get ready, we can see the drivers coming into position. This is F1 tonight, Netherlands. And we are here at the Shanghai International Circuit for Season 6, Race 3. And they will be off shortly. Yes, the lights are coming on. 4, 5, and they are off for the start of this Shanghai Grand Prix. And Boy Williamson, Nicky Visser leading away. McLaren there, Baz Den Bryan trying to get through. Guido Urshan as well, but the Williams protecting. Everyone going through so far.
Jamie Collane off.
Okay. Jamie Collane has gone off track. You can see the guys coming through there, but Red Bull, Williams, McLaren and Mercedes there of Hans. Marco Pullen trying to push on Hans van der Berg. And already you can see John Dunkel trying to fight his way through there. Damie Hartman as well coming through. Look at that. Damie Hartman already up 6 places to P9. Fantastic start for him. Looking very good indeed. John Dunkel drops down 1. Peter Phillips down 4, Stappers down 3, Parder-Cooper down 2, and Jamie Collane down 2 as well. Not a great start for the Racing Point or indeed the Alfa Romeo there. But Boy Williamson is leading the way. Nicky Visser close in behind him. And you can see the 2 Williams there, Zander Hermans, Marcel Dronig. Guido Urshan is still up close and personal, but Baz Den Bryan has dropped down, so I think he may have had some contact or gone off track there. Hans van der Berg, though, is closing down on that McLaren. Now, you remember DRS. DRS is not activated. DRS will be activated on lap 3. So they've got another 2 laps before they'll have DRS and be able to take advantage of that. We're riding on board with Hans van der Berg. He comes down into 14, trying to get the apex. Oh, wheel-to-wheel contact there with the McLaren. But he gets ahead. I'm sure Urshan is going to be cursing him for that one, but that was perfectly legit turn there, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've got Sauber in the pit actually. McLaren in the pit. It's Urshan. Urshan's come in.
Yeah, Urshan has gone in the pits. How did he manage that?
Donkel as well and Parder-Cooper. I did see a few wings flying around. I saw a few wings flying around turn 1 and 2. I couldn't really work out what colour they were. I thought
he'd gone past the pit entrance. I thought he'd gone past the pit entrance. I don't know how he managed that. Okay, so Parder-Cooper's in as well. John Donkel's in. Boy Williamson still leading the way. His teammate Nicky Visser hot on his tail. Zander Hermans 7/10 off the back of them and 6/10 Marcel Dronig. So at this moment, the Red Bulls and the Williams sitting pretty, aren't they?
Yeah, they've all had good starts, textbook starts really. No damage to any car, all away unscathed, and pretty close at the moment as well.
Okay, so Boy Williamson is on the mediums, Nicky Visser is on the mediums, and Zander Hermans is on the mediums. I know Hermans and Visser were on the mediums. I didn't realise that Williamson had set a time on those mediums.
No, me neither, actually. He must have... Yeah, that's unusual.
So that might be something, I don't know. Might be something for the stewards, if that's the case.
Saw it in the real life race, didn't we, with Kimi Räikkönen in Monza?
Yeah.
He didn't start on the right tyres. It's easily done.
Yeah, it is easily done, even in the real world of F1. Hans van der Berg, we know he was on the mediums, and Marco Pullen, we're on the mediums. So I'm not too sure, actually. I'm questioning Zander Hermans there and Williamson. But Marco Pullen, he's doing well here, isn't he? He's holding off Bas Den Breyen. Den Breyen is coming back. What's he going to do? They are on lap 3 now. They will not have DRS here, but they will have out of 13 as they're coming down towards turn 14. Real close here. Look at this between the McLaren and the Mercedes of Den Breyen and Hartmann. Den Breyen's got to get past him, hasn't he?
Oh, bit of a mistake there from Pullen. A little bit too eager on the throttle. Nearly spun the car, actually. Didn't have a great exit.
And let's watch him down into 6. This is what I was talking about. This is where he's going to be looking to get that advantage on the exit. He's got the softer compound tyres, but that McLaren just doesn't seem to have the oomph, and it's just not pulling away, is it?
It's not, no, not at the moment. Bringing on those soft tyres, in theory, should be getting past. Expecting to get past under the DRS down the back straight. Yeah.
Well, he will have DRS, obviously, as I said, on the exit of 13 now, but he's going to need to be a good sort of 4/10 behind Pullen on that activation, and I don't know if he's close enough. He's 6.5 at the moment. See a different angle of attack there, round 13 from both drivers. Pullen trying to break the toe there, but no, Den Breyen will have the speed, won't he? Yeah, look at this, side by side.
Easy move, really.
Okay, great camera angle, didn't see that, thank you. Gives it to me on the exit, and Den Breyen gets ahead of Pullen, so Den Breyen is starting to charge his way through. Dronig setting the fastest time so far, 1:38.8, so that Williams is really moving, and they're not letting those Red Bulls get away. I mean, Dronig is still 6/10 off the back of his teammate Zander Hermans. Zander Hermans is 5/10 now off the back of Boy Williamson, and Boy Williamson 6/10 off the back of Nicky Visser. Nicky Visser taking that first place from him in that third lap.
It's great racing right now, yeah, with 4 cars still within half a second of each other. And Dronig at the back of this pack, he's not letting him out of their sight. He is on the soft tyre, so he has got the advantage, but he's got 3 very fast drivers ahead of him, and they're not getting away.
No, they are not getting away, and they're all, as I say, very close into one another there. So this is going to be interesting, because this is, obviously Dronig is going to be the first man in the pits. He's on the soft tyres. The rest are on the medium compound tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see, A, how deep Dronig can go on those soft wall tyres, and B, how deep these guys will go on the medium tyres. 56 laps is the total. I'm thinking the mediums will probably go at the start of this race, I don't know, 25, 26 laps, taking into account they've also done some runs on them for the qualification. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I'm thinking probably that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, typically the medium tyre on most tracks will do about half the race. That's not strictly true, but it's a good rule of thumb. Obviously 7 different compounds that Pirelli can offer at a track, and they pick 3 for each race, and just happen to call them soft, medium and hard.
Yeah, exactly. So the compounds are actually different every week, but the idea being that they more or less go the same sort of distance, or it's got the same sort of wear on that particular track.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's what we're looking at this moment in time. So Nicky Visser is leading the race, pulling out away slowly from his teammate, who's now 8/10 behind him, as is Zander Hermans starting to fall behind Boy Williamson. So the 2 Red Bulls starting to pull out, but Dronig's still 5/10 off his teammate, so still good competition between the 2 Williams drivers. Hans van der Berg in the Toro Rosso, 2.6, 2.4 seconds off the back of them. Baz Den Brian is closing down on that Toro Rosso though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's closing it quite rapidly actually. So look at the lap times. About 4/10 gained on that previous lap. There's about 6 to 7 tenths difference between the soft and medium tyre on this track. So yeah, he's closing in just outside of DRS range at the moment.
He is just a little bit outside there, but he'll probably have it down the start-finish straight. So I would suspect, yeah, he will, because the detection point is just before turn 16, so he will have it.
Peter Phillips just went off at the hairpin, sector 3. I think he's got past him now. Didn't actually see the incident.
Stapper's lining up behind Peter Phillips now as they're coming into turn 1. Let's go on board with him and let's see here. You can see him feathering the accelerator, the gas there, just to keep a steady pace. And look at his foot right down now. Round 3 into 4. And Phillips is closing down here. Good straight line speed from this Ferrari. I don't think it'll be too long before Stappers will be challenging Phillips, but Phillips close in behind Damie Hartman. Damie Hartman now up to P8. Remember, he started P15. So he hasn't been able to progress too much further at this moment in time, but he's done well there. He's on the medium set of tyres. So should be interesting to see how that works out for him.
Worth noting that John Donkel pitted in lap 1. He's gone onto the hard tyres. Possible
Bad choice,
that
I think.
Do you think? Yeah, well, I don't like the hard tyres.
I think it is.
Myself.
I've got to say, for this track, I don't think it's the right shout, because I think he'll just simply lose too much time on those tyres, and it won't make, because what he's looking to do is obviously go for less pit stops, whereas you could on a hard. So I said, you know, you're not going to get a one stop on this, and that's what he's going for. Well, he's not two stoppers really, because he had to stop previously, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to get the pace out of those hard tyres that he needs to make the difference.
No, but you could say if he just stuck to his whatever his original strategy was, the two stop, then you know he's already a pit stop behind, doesn't he? Because he had to come in at lap 1, so he has to now take the risk and try the hard type, because by doing his normal strategy, he'll lose anyway.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that one, Adrian. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and I must admit, you know, that would be a tack to go. But on this particular track, I just don't think it would work. If we were looking at something that was a little bit more free-flowing, let's say, but the three sectors are all very different. I just don't think it'll work for him. That's my personal opinion. I'm happy to be proved wrong.
Dogs actually passed Urshan. He passed him at the final corner, I believe it was.
Yeah, Urshan is down in 13. Had a fantastic start, but once he came into the pits, it's not. He's not been able to progress too much, has he, on those mediums?
He hasn't. Sorry. There's a change at P3. Dronig's just got past his teammate.
He has indeed. Dronig on the DRS there, down from 13 to 14, has now got past his teammate, Sander Hermans. That's who we're riding on board with now. So Dronig was always, you know, very close in. He's about 5 tenths off his teammate. Now, the question is now, is Dronig going to start closing down? Because clearly Hermans was not closing down to Boy Williamson. So now it's down to Dronig. Do you think that may have been something planned there, where they said, look, I'm not closing in. Do you want to have a go at it? I think it could have been.
Yeah, I think it could have been. I think Hermans acknowledged that his teammate was on the faster tyre, and the fact that he was right behind him for since the start of the race, really. We're on lap 8 now. I think he's offered him an opportunity to catch the Red Bulls ahead, which is it's good team play. De Bruyne as well in P6, all over the back of Van der Berg now.
Well, that was expected, but I do agree with you. I think it was a good bit of a team decision there, because obviously constructors counts for a lot. We're on board now with Baz Den Brand as he's coming out of 10 down towards turn 11. This is the one here where you could see drivers making those errors. That's the DRS detection point there. He was within, but he's lost time round that corner. And I've noticed that, you know, I would prefer to go, as we saw there, Hans van der Berg, sort of on the edge, on that left-hand side round that 12, 13. Then Brian tries to cut the corner, but it doesn't seem to work, does it?
No, it doesn't. Well, for me, it depends what condition my tyres are actually in, whether I can go on the outside or have to sort of slow down and cut in. I always try to aim for the outside at higher speed if I can.
Brian lost a lot of time to Van der Berg there, didn't he, in that final corners of Sector 3?
Yeah, he did. Remco Hunting has retired from the race. He was running P15.
Remco Hunting running P15 has DNF'd. Not too sure where on the track that is. Yellow flag is in Sector 2, so one would suspect it's going to be here. But Den Bryan, he's just, I don't know, he doesn't seem to be confident. I don't know if it's his setup or what there, but he seems quite hesitant and he doesn't seem to have the grip that you'd normally see. I don't know what the issue is there, but it's definitely not sitting well with him at this moment, I think.
Yeah, that's a fairly good analysis at the moment. Yeah, it's not the usual players that we're sort of used to seeing. He's not really making mistakes. He's
no.
Yeah, it's just as you say, something just doesn't seem to be sort of sitting right in the car. Perhaps it's the start. I don't know.
Well, again, we've got to bear in mind that these guys have still got pretty much a full fuel tank.
Sorry, Eddie. Droning went off at the chicane, at the hairpin.
Yeah.
Sorry, and
Zander Hermans has got ahead of him.
Through,
Marcel Droning loses it round turn 14, and Zander Hermans gets ahead of him. I think Droning's going to be pretty upset with himself on that one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think perhaps he was trying too hard to try and sort of close the gap. You know, obviously the Williams team, if you like, they've given him the opportunity to close it down, and I think the pressure was on him sort of a bit too much to perform.
Yeah, and indeed, Zander Hermans now is 4.4 seconds off the back of Boy Williamson. And Boy Williamson is pulling away. Marcel Droning is closing again on his teammate. But look at this, Boy Williamson still within a second of his teammate. So both the Red Bulls more or less nose to tail here. Nicky Visser took him in lap 3 to take that P1 position. And they're already starting to pull away. I mean, these two guys nearly 5 seconds down the road already on lap 10.
Yeah, they're doing well. What they're doing as well is they're using DRS to maintain the gap. Williamson is not looking at the overtake on his teammate. He's just looking to sort of stay within that DRS range to allow him to sort of be towed along by his teammate and keep him away from the Williams behind. But yeah, this is
good because I mean they're not putting a lot of wear on their tyres from being in close or fighting, so they're prolonging the lifespan of these tyres as well, aren't they? At the same time.
Yeah, exactly. But not sort of pushing sort of too hard. They're just pacing themselves nicely and managing their tyres. And this is 100% advantage Red Bull at the moment. I'm not too sure who's actually going to take the win. I have to be honest. I don't know if they're going to sort of fight it out in the last phase. But we'll have to wait and see.
I think they are definitely working as a team on this race, and that's certainly good to see. I'm inclined to agree with you. I think it's going to be every man for himself when crunch time comes, but at this moment in time, cooperation is working with them, and I'm sure if you were to look at their stats, I would say that they're doing fairly consistent lap times. You know, I would think they're pretty much on the nail every lap at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, it does look like it. Let's have a look at boys' previous laps. Yeah, they're all sort of within the 38.8 range, and maybe a tenth or two either side of that, and this, yeah, exactly the same.
Yeah, so they're definitely pacing themselves. So we're on lap 11 of 56. This is F1 Tonight, Netherlands. We have Nicky Visser leading the way in P1 for Red Bull. P2 is his teammate, Boy Williamson. Then we have Zander Hermans in the Williams. He's currently in P3. And Marcel Droning is coming to the pit, so 10 laps on those softs. And he's coming to the pits. Hans van der Berg in the Toro Rosso now assumes that P4 position. Marco Pullen in the Mercedes moves up to P5. Damie Hartman in the Toro Rosso is now up to P6. He's doing well there. Stappers is up to P7. And Dronig just coming out the pits now. So he will be coming out in P9.
He's done another set of softs. So he's going aggressive.
He's definitely going aggressive. So he's going on to another set of softs. Then we've got Bas Den Breyen. He's nearly 6 seconds behind him, and he's gone on to the hards. Okay, now that's an interesting shout. That would suggest to me that Den Breyen has thought, okay, I'm not getting anywhere here. I'm not getting this right. I'm going to go on hards till the end of the race. This is definitely till the end of the race call, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
If he can.
100%, yeah. Yeah, which I imagine he should be able to. Rears might be in the
45 laps.
Worst state. Yep, I'd say that is about doable.
So then Brian going on to the hard tyres. He's going to be looking to do 45 laps on these. Interesting shout. You see, now in this particular instance, I've got a sneaking suspicion that it could well work for him. Because he's doing it in the latter stages, and those tyres are going to come alive when others are going to be coming into the pits towards the sort of the last sort of quarter of this race. I think that's actually not a bad call. Peter Phillips in the Haas is 4 seconds off the back of the Brand. He's in P11. John Donkel still down there in that P12, and he's 6 seconds behind Peter Phillips. It hasn't worked out. I just think he went on the hards too early, in my opinion.
Well, he had
to
pit for a new win, so I think it was.
Yeah.
It was just give it a go.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. And Guido Urschen, Den Breyen's teammate, he's in P13, and Martin Paardenkoper in the Alfa Romeo, coming down towards turn 14, is currently in P14. So he's bringing up the rear.
So Dronig passing Lane into what's that? Is that turn? Where is that? Yeah, it was turn 3.
That was 6, 7.
That's 6, 7.
Yeah. Just coming down to 9 now. So Dronig getting past Jamie Collane in the Racing Point, charging through here. Now the question is how far can he go? He went 10 laps on those softs. We've got Stappers out there at the moment on 12, but we know Stapper's a bit of a master of making his tyres last, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, yeah. I remember it well. I think it was that? Oh, that was Hungary, wasn't it? He did about 52 laps, whatever it was on the medium tyre as it was then, the white medium tyre back then.
Yeah, indeed. That was in 2018. I think that was season 4 actually. So yeah, Marcel Dronig though starting to come through the field. He's got his next target, Stappers. Yeah, Stappers is in the pits now. Yeah, so Stappers in the pit, so Dronig doesn't have to worry about attacking him. He now needs to get on the back of Damie Hartman. He's just under 9 seconds down the road from him, but he is moving. Dronig, I've got to say, he's trying to set some queue times here on a full tank, more or less, or 3/4 of a tank.
Yeah. Droning's lap time just set at 30.6. That is over 3 seconds faster than Damie Hartman.
Yeah, So on that basis, he's going to be closing on the back of Damie Hartman round about towards the tail end of 16-17. So let's keep an eye on that one. Damie Hartman, he's currently in P6. He's season 5 winner. He's not done too bad so far this season. If we look at where he is in the championship, he's where are we now? He's currently P6, so not going too bad at all at this moment in time.
Yeah.
So
Not what you
still
call
fighting through.
not what you call a dominant defense of the championship so far, though.
Oh, he's just lulling the others into a false sense of security. We're only 2 races in.
That must be it.
Yeah, he's just reading them in, make it a good one. But Dronig is definitely closing down. He's taken a second out on that time I was talking there in just a couple of cues, a couple of sectors, I think. So Marco Pullen, he's in 5, so he's 5 seconds down the road. Oh, hang on a minute. I just saw somebody going in the pits there. Looked like Toro Rosso.
Damie's in after 13 laps.
Damie's in. Yeah, so Damie's in after 13 laps on those mediums. Interesting. He's going to go on to the hards. No,
Could do.
I think he's going to go on to the hards, you know. Let's have a look on that.
It looks like another set of mediums.
No, he's going to another set of mediums. So, going on to another set of mediums.
He's either got a penalty or it's a glitch right there. That was a penalty. He just, I think that was the stop-go.
Stop-go for speeding in the pit lane, probably, or it might have been a stop-go. I don't think anything on track there, but still.
No.
We're on board with Marco Pullen. He's in the Mercedes. He's currently in P5. Good race from Pullen so far. I mean, we're about a quarter of the way through this race. Well, just over, actually. And Pullen's putting in a good race here in Shanghai, isn't he?
Yeah, not too shabby, is it, from Marco? It's a P15. Yeah, it's a decent performance, to be honest. Only 5 seconds off the back of Van der Berg. But yeah, impressive stuff. Marcel Dronig behind those really impressed me so far in this race.
Yeah, Dronig is closing down. Pullen.
Sorry, Parder Cooper's out. Sector 1, yellow flags wave. Try and have a look from. Perhaps we can see it from Visser as he comes around. Turn 2.
He might be out of 4.
Yeah, he's in the wall at turn 2.
Yeah,
on the left-hand side of the track.
Yeah, he was in the wall. Actually, yeah, that was just on the exit of 4. In the wall on the left-hand side. He'd laid down the power, obviously, spun it out and into the wall. So Parder Cooper is out. So Alfa Romeo is out. At least that makes it less confusing for me now.
Only 2 red cars left. And they're both
Only
the same
2 red
team.
cars left, and they're both the same team, so it's got to be Ferrari. So we are with Boy Williamson at this moment in time. Now he's dropped substantially behind his teammate. He's nearly 4 seconds behind Visser. I mean, you know, has Visser decided, okay, the team tactics out the window, I'm going for it now? Or has Williamson made a mistake?
Visser's pace hasn't dropped off from.
I think he's made a mistake because Sander Hermans is just under 4 seconds now behind Williamson. And that gap was actually increasing. So I think Williamson may have made an error on track at some point, which has made him fall behind his teammate.
I wonder if Williamson's actually fuel saving, or even tyre saving. Perhaps Visser's going to come into the pit first. Williamson will know that he needs to do a couple more laps once he does come in, and he's just sort of saving the last bit of oomph in the tyres for when he's got sort of clean track ahead. He's just gone off.
Oh!
Just went wide at 1.
Went wide.
There's 2 tyres on the grass.
Yeah. Won't receive a penalty for that because he was still on track with the other 2 tyres. But that's a little bit of a warning. You've got to concentrate. And this is certainly that first sector. It is max concentration, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, and Hermans can see him now. He's going to get excited about that. You can see the Red Bull just 2 seconds down the road.
You can see him ahead on this track now, so he knows where his target is. and he's under 3 seconds off the back of him. All on equal tyres at this moment in time. Top 5, all on those mediums, all done 16 laps from the start of this race. Hans van der Berg, he's in P4. He's closing down on Zander Hermans, and Marco Pullen is falling behind slightly. Dronig is closing down on him, but not as quickly as I would have expected. Well, saying that, no, he's taken about a good 2 seconds out of him actually on the previous lap, so he'll be catching up with him, I would suspect, round about lap 19. So, yeah, let's keep an eye on that one. The question now is how...
retired. Sorry, Baz is retired.
Oh, Baz de Breen is out.
No, it's at turn...
no.
10.
Yeah, it was on the exit of 10, and the problem is you can come out of 10, you can be really wobbly out of there if you don't hit it right, and when you try and correct, you just spin the car. It is one of those places. So Dembrain is out. McLaren of Dembrain is out, and I was saying it wasn't seen comfortably with him. There was something not right there. It was definitely twitchy and not what we'd normally expect of Dembrain.
Yeah, he looked really sort of out of character driving around the track there for those sort of first quarter of the race. It's a shame, really. McLaren looked like they were sort of on top form.
So strong.
Q2, Q3.
Yeah, so strong. I mean, they really were taking up that third row. So, surprised, but let's see what Urshan can do. He's still in the race, and it is still open. John has moved up, obviously, with those pit stops now. He's up to P10. He's on those hard compound tyres. Came in on lap 2. The question is how deep is he going to go, and what tyres is he going to go on to next? I mean, I don't think he's going to go to. I don't think he's going to go to the end of this race. But when does he want to go onto those softs? So he's got to be aiming for the softs. I can't see him going on to the mediums.
Yeah, he'll want to get within sort of the last 10 laps of this race before he goes on to the softs, I think that'll be his target.
So he's going to be looking to get to around about lap 45, 46, well, between 45 and 47, I would suspect, and then go on to those soft tyres. So let's see how that pans out for him. I still think he's going to be hard pushed. I think because we might see him in the top 5 by the end of this race, but I think it's more likely he's going to be finishing around about sort of P6. Yeah,
I think that's a reasonable assessment of his target. Dronig, on the other hand, I know I keep mentioning him, but he is still flying. he is
flying now, and he's under 2 seconds off the back. He's got to be taking 2 seconds a lap out of Pullen at the moment, isn't he?
It's exactly what I was about to say. He's still doing laps that are 2 seconds faster than anybody else on the track at the moment. Yeah,
he is definitely flying. And he's going to be closing down on Pullen. Will he close down on him, do you think, for that DRS as they come down the straight between 13 and 14?
Yep, I think he'll have him down there. Plenty of ERS as well, great ERS management, and he's driving a top race at the moment. He might be on for at least a podium here.
I think it's looking good at this moment in time, but as we know, anything can happen. We've already seen 3 drivers go out. Then Brian for McLaren, Martin Parder-Cooper for Alfa Romeo, and Remco Hunting for Mercedes. 12 drivers remaining. We are on board Marcel Dronig, and he is up close and personal now. He has got the DRS, the activation, or detection rather, was on the previous corners. Pullen trying to break that toe by going over to the right hand side of the track, now getting down. Oh, does it again.
2 moves there.
That's 2 moves there. Although I suppose you could
do better. And
he goes deep. He's gone too deep. That's it. Pullen
gifted it in.
Alongside. Yeah, he just went too deep into there, trying to outbrake Dronig, and Dronig gets past him. And his next
Williamson
target now is going to be Hans van der Berg, because Boy Williamson is in the pits.
Yeah, pitted from P2. I was just about to say, Dronig's probably got a big smile on his face as he saw Pullen go wide there at the hairpin.
Definitely. It was a little bit unexpected. It did catch him out. He wasn't expecting that, so he had to correct himself. It wasn't the ideal turn 14 for him. But nonetheless, he gets the place, moves up to P4. And this is really important, because now he really needs to get past Van der Berg to make this stint on the softs work for him, doesn't he?
Yep. Yeah, he'd like to. I think Van der Berg might be in the pit at the end of this lap, perhaps.
Williamson has gone on to another set of mediums. So it looks like the Red Bulls are going for the two-stop medium, and then the red softwall tyre to close the race. But that can all change. Yeah, I think it is. It can all change, though. Anything can happen. Hans van der Berg is up into P3, and he's going to be relishing that, isn't he, Van der Berg, now?
Yep. Yeah, P3, obviously, perhaps not obviously, but it's where he finished his very first race to F1 Tonight Netherlands.
Yes, indeed. Got his first podium. Not to be the
not
last.
In the pit, yeah. Hermans is in the pit, though. Hermans is pitting in from P2,
so
10
Sander
seconds
Hermans
behind
has
the leader.
come into the pits. Hans van der Berg moves up to P2. Nicky Visser has stayed out. How much longer is he going to stay out? Do you think we're going to see him coming in at the end of this lap 20? Or is he going to be looking to stay out and go a little bit deeper?
I'm not too sure. I think Visser will want to stay out a couple more laps.
I think so as well, actually. I do think so. So Hans van der Berg has moved up to P2. It's 13 seconds off the back of Visser. And sorry, Adrian, you were going to say there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if Visser can perhaps make it to 23, and then he does another 23 on a set of mediums, it leaves only 10 laps to do on the softs, which he can be able to push them hard in the last stint.
That is very true indeed. He certainly will be able to. Let's quickly cut back here to a fight for P7. Peter Phillips on Jamie Collane into 6. Jamie Collane comes back out of 6 onto him, onto 7. Real fight going on here, but Phillips did get past him. But Collane trying to come back now. Round 8. Into
Jamie's
9.
Jamie's tyres are pretty badly worn. Phillips half as young, really, just on 10 laps for Jamie's 20.
That's true. But look at this. Damie Hartman is up close now behind Jamie Collane as well. Surely he's going to be looking to make the move. Coming down to 14. He will have the DRS. Collane obviously trying to come back there at Peter Phillips, who just took that P7 place from him. And Damie Hartman closing down. Is going to be able to make the move into turn 14. Oh, close there, but he will have DRS, remember, out of 16 as they come down into sector 1. Damie Hartman, last year's season champion with Ferrari, now in the Toro Rosso, easily past the racing point there, I think, but can he keep it? As they come round turn 1 into 2. Yellow flag in sector 1. Don't know who that is. I don't know who that is actually.
I think that. Oh, I thought it was Guido for a minute there. I don't know. Can't tell you this moment.
Jamie Collane dropping down now behind Damie Hartman, but Damie Hartman clearly fixed on Peter Phillips. Toro Rosso on the Haas. It seems like Damie's got a bit of a second wind to him now. I mean, is it because those mediums are starting to come alive a bit? Oh! Power slides around 8 into 9.
Seems to be enjoying
himself. A bit more
himself.
comfortable on those mediums now.
Yeah, I think so. I think they've settled in.
So he will have
Jamie Collane off.
DRS.
So Collane's off at the bank.
Yeah, Collane off.
John goes past. Donkel goes past.
John Donkel goes past. And Damie Hartman now closing down on Peter Phillips. He's going to be looking to try and get this move done into 14. Watch this now. Watch it on the braking. Close in behind, can't quite. Phillips defending his line well there, wasn't he?
Yeah, done very, very well there, Peter Phillips. Oh, he's gone a bit wide at the last corner though.
Wide out 16. Hartman gets the jump on him.
Sorry, Dronic's in the
Gets
pit.
ahead.
Dronic's in the pit and he's gone on to medium tyres. There's still 33 laps to go. That's some push. He's going to have to do some stint.
Dronig comes out behind these two, battling away now. So Dronig is out in 7. He's behind Peter Phillips and Damie Hartman. And Phillips, I think, now starting to fall back. Dronig's on a fresh set of yellow wall tyres.
Dronig's
get a bit
stop
of heat in those. Yeah, that is his second stop. I think he heard your strategy for Visser, 23-23 soft.
Yeah, it'll mean a 3-stop. It might be a 3-stop strategy for Dronig. This is in the pit though, end of 22.
Okay, so Visser is in the pits. Hans van der Berg coming down now. So Hans van der Berg in the Toro Rosso. He's coming in as well.
He's in as well.
So Boy Williamson out of 15 now, coming down to 16. Will he be able to get out ahead of his teammate? Should be able to.
Well, I don't know.
Visser coming to the end. No, he won't. No, he won't. Visser's now on the exit, coming into turn 1.
No, he's done it. He has done it. He's got the undercut on him.
So, Nicky Visser comes out behind his teammate, Boy Williamson.
Dronic's off. At the penultimate corner. He lit up the wheels at the hairpin.
And that's it.
He's
into the pits. Dronic's into the pits. He's lost his front left wing, so he's had to come into the pits. Now that's going to disappoint him. So Boy Williamson does manage to get out ahead of his teammate Nicky Visser. So Nicky Visser is in that P2 position. I was a bit confused because I thought Nicky was actually going to get out ahead of him. I'm quite surprised by that.
Yeah, well, I think Nicky just pushed his tyres perhaps a little bit too far, and obviously Williamson was setting very fast laps in the 2 or 3 laps that he sort of just done after his pit stop. And that's that's how the undercut works. You take fast laps while the driver ahead of you is wearing out their very old tyres.
Yeah, indeed. So Visser is now in P2, but more importantly, he's got Zander Hermans on his tail. And Zander Hermans is on 3 lap-old mediums, so those mediums are settled in a little bit more than Nicky's have at this moment in time. Do you think Hermans can close down that gap to Visser and start challenging him?
Well, I'd say the gap is already pretty closed down. I think him just being there is going to pile on the pressure on Nicky that he perhaps didn't expect. Nicky was obviously leading the race for the first 20 or so laps of this race. Didn't really expect to be having to defend P2. So, yeah, we'll wait and see.
He's got a good exit, though, out of 3 and 4, Visser. Pulls out a little bit more from that Williams. Good exit again, out of 6 into 7 now. He's certainly carrying some good straight line speed. I think he's starting to pull away now from Zander Hermans, and indeed the gap has opened up a little, but Zander Hermans needs to close it down as they come round 10. DRS detection point is just... Where are we? As they come round this corner there it is as they go round the 12. That's the detection. He's outside of DRS, so Visser lives to fight another day now. No DRS for Zander Hermans. And that means that Visser can now concentrate on his teammate ahead of him, who's now nearly 2 seconds ahead of him. But he is on, slightly, let's say he's got a little bit more wear on those softs. 4 laps up on his teammate, so that helps him, doesn't it, with the grip as well.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, these 2 drivers, Williamson and Visser in the Red Bulls,
Visser sets the fastest lap though so far. Lap. Yeah, 136.8.
I was just going to say, these 2 drivers, the difference between them is obviously that 4 laps. All to be able to use the softs in their last stint, and tyres will comfortably make it to within soft tyre range. But Visser will be able to push that bit harder because he's got to do just 4 laps fewer than his teammate. The boy might have to try and stretch them out a bit. in perhaps the last 8 or 9 laps of the race.
Well, I think that's what he's going to be looking at. But Zander Herman's definitely dropping now behind. Nearly 2 seconds. Hans van der Berg is 12.5 seconds behind him. Damie Hartman just under 5 seconds off Hans van der Berg. So he is starting to reel him in slowly. Peter Phillips is in P6. Marco Pullen is now coming up on Peter Phillips. So he's going to be challenging him. He is on a fresher set of medium tyres, so should be fairly straightforward into 11, round 12. He doesn't have DRS yet, but I suspect he's likely to have it when they come round the final corner. But Pullen's putting in a good steady race here this evening, isn't he?
Yeah, it's. I think that's the key word, isn't it? Steady. He's just pacing himself nicely. ERS management could be a bit better, but I think it's only low because he's chasing Peter Phillips. Wants to make that overtake sooner rather than later. Bearing in mind his tyres are sort of more than 10 laps younger than the Haas.
Yeah, and he has indeed got that DRS. Closed down a bit to him, but this is the opportunity now. And there is a great opportunity here. We've seen it in the real world as well. Some great battles in those first 4 turns, and we haven't seen too many yet here this evening, but I'm sure we will towards the latter stages, because a number of those guys up front are going to be rather close to one another, I think.
Yep, totally agree with that. Good showing from Toro Rosso, but he peaked 4 and 5 right now. They definitely didn't start anywhere like that.
No, they didn't, and they've done very well indeed. Well, they did. Yes, they did. They started in the second row.
They've.
No, it was Williams. Sorry, it's Williams. Sorry, you're right. Sorry, Toro Rosso. Yeah, down the back. Yeah. So
Hartman started last, and
he did.
Van der Berg started 8th.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they've done really well there. Let's hope they can maintain those places.
Yeah, gained 14 positions between them.
And Hans van der Berg, though, definitely driving a great race here this evening. He's now
personal best.
He's on the mediums. I'm just trying to see. 23. He could actually go. Yeah, I think Hans van der Berg actually is on a strong possibility of getting a podium finish.
Yes. It'll be. I think he'll be fighting with Sander Hermans for that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 11 seconds behind him. He is on 3-lap younger tyres, but that alone is not enough to cut down that gap. He's going to have a very good stint on the soft tyres when he goes onto them at the end to really sort of fight for that P3.
I agree, but I think he's the man to do it. Lighter car on those soft tyres with a good 40 odd laps previous under his belt. He knows you get a better feel for the track the more time goes on, obviously, and I think he's going to be. I really do think he's going to be challenging Zander Hermans.
Oh, there's a change of the lead. This has gone past Williamson. I think Williamson let him past at the
14.
The hairpin.
Yeah, he did, and that was preceding. Actually, Vista led into that hairpin, so that was definitely letting him past. So again, team tactics coming in here, aren't they?
Yep. This is we see it so often in real life F1. I think because this is leading the championship, he's the priority man, I suppose.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, but it's good to see, because remember there is no team. Effectively, it's just these 2 drivers. They don't have a backup crew or anything like that. So this is clearly something that they discussed before the race, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And it does, these drivers know each other so well. Obviously, both of them are administrators for F1 Tonight, and have been in the league since season 2. And they've done many races together. And they're teammates by choice. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
Mercedes last
just another
season.
sign of that, isn't it? Yep.
So, yeah, they're clearly happy working together and in conjunction with one another. And it makes sense, I guess. Yeah, whoever's leading gets to set the rules.
As you say, there's no sort of race engineer, shouting in or advising them. Oh, you've got to let your teammate pass. It's their call to do that.
Indeed, as we ride on board with Nicky Visser, who now leads this race, and his teammate Boy Williamson in behind him. So they come down the start-finish straight, and Zander Hermans in the background. Oh, yellow flag in sector 3.
Pullen's off.
Pullen is off.
He's in the wall.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, he lost it big time there.
Yeah.
And that was out at 13.
At the bank.
He's got severe damage to his front right wing. So he's going to have to come in for a wing change, and that's scuppered his race. He needs to come back now. What's he going to do? He's on 7-lap-old mediums. He's got to come in for a new nose. What does he do? There's 26 laps remaining. He's going to go on to another set of mediums, isn't he?
I would suggest that, but he's only used mediums. Oh, and he's in the wall. I was going to say he can't use mediums again because he's used medium. He's got to use something else.
So he'd have to go on to the hards or the softs.
Yeah, it's a shame, big shame, because we were saying earlier, weren't we? How steadily he was driving, and we may have cursed him, as we often do.
The commentator's curse strikes again. Right, so Marco Pullen, so that's Team Mercedes out of this China Grand Prix. We are on board with Mark Stappers in the Ferrari. He's about 11 seconds at this moment in time off his teammate John Dunkel, but Stappers again, he's in the race, he's in the points, and it all adds up at the end of the day. He may not be fighting it out at the top, but he's in there.
Yep, he's one of those drivers, and he's just always there, always scoring points.
Yeah.
One day his time will come. Like we're starting to see it with Dronig. As I said, he impressed me so much in the first half of this race, and just a big shame for him to sort of make such a huge mistake like that, spinning the tyres out of 15.
Yeah.
But it's he is improving. He's improving all the time. I think he's actually going to pass Jamie Collane actually into the hairpin. No, he's changed his mind.
He's looking for it at this moment in time, though, isn't he? He's coming down to 16, Dronig, on the tail of that
Hartman's
racing
in.
point.
Hartman's in the pit. He's gone onto the hard tyre ahead of them.
Jamie Collane now. Good entrance into 1-2, but very slow as he's coming round into 3. Dronig right on his tail now. Watch him accelerate out of 4. Round over the hill, 5 down into 6 now. He's going to look to close him down. Get him on that exit. Collane goes wide.
Mistake there.
Yeah. Dronig now needs to take that inside line as much as he can. Lead into 8. Now he can possibly make the move out of 10, but I think he's just going to be looking to be on him for that DRS activation as they come round 11 into 12. You see that white line across. That's the activation point. He's 6.5 tenths off the back of Collane, so he will have him. And then he will have that DRS as they come down the straight. Is it enough, though, to close down to Collane before they get to turn 14? I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You can see the
might be interesting down to start and finish.
It's the apex beautifully. Dronig there, good exit. Right on the gearbox here of this racing point as they come round the final 16. Had to back off there, lost downforce.
That's the thing. It's a bit too close as they approach
Yeah.
the corner, which it gave him a poor exit. It means he wasn't able to overtake.
But he's much better round 1 and 2 than Culhane here. And again, I think if you watch him as he hits the apex on the apex of 3 and then accelerates now into 4. And he is really, but Culhane is defending well, I've got to say. Ooh, slight error there from Dronig going on the rough nearly. That could have taken him off. Needs to get that dirt off his tyres, especially around this 7, because it's a high-speed turn here. But as I said, Culhane is defending well, though, to be fair, isn't he?
He is, and both drivers, in fairness, managing their energy well, their ERS very well, despite actually battling on track like this.
Watching now, round 11 into 12. You can see Dronig right in his tail there.
So it's so easy to light up those rear tyres, just accelerating too early. I think he might make the pass.
I think he's got a better chance now, definitely. Should be looking down to make it to 14. Culhane trying to defend. Can't do much about it. Dronig just slots in behind him. Culhane goes wide out of 14 into 15. They're side by side now as they're coming down, but again, Dronig drops in. Gets out of that turbulent air.
He learned from the previous lap.
Yeah, he did. He just went a little bit more on the inside, got out of that dirty air, had the better exit then out of that turn 16, didn't he?
Yep, and both drivers ahead of Pete Phillips, which is really important for them. They were battling him earlier on in the race. Well, perhaps not Dronig, but Culhane was.
Yeah, important for Culhane certainly to maintain that position. 2 championship points here, and if Phillips gets past him, that's going to be halved down to 1. So he wants to stay with him now. Really, what he needs to try and do is get that toe off that Williams ahead of him to pull away from Phillips, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
And he's going to have a great opportunity down 13-14. He does not want Phillips, though, to be within DRS, and he currently is. So, this is not ideal situation for Culhane. Phillips is now within that DRS detection point, and if he's under 4 tenths as they hit the activation line, he's going to be challenging Culhane, but he's not.
Yeah.
Just under 8 tenths away. He's going to close down to him, but Culhane needs to take advantage now.
You could say Culhane has negated the advantage that Phillips has with the DRS by staying within the DRS of Dronig ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. But Phillips is going to be challenging again.
That out.
Culhane still within the DRS, so he will have it out of here. Peter Phillips still close in. Culhane's still close to Dronig. He's not letting Dronig get away, is he?
Not at all. Not at all.
Phillips is doing likewise to Culhane there. Not a great exit out of 4 for Culhane. Phillips closed down a bit more now. He's 5 tenths on the back of him. Culhane now just over a second behind Dronig. Now this could well be advantage Phillips at this moment in time. He's maintaining that gap. He's within 5-6 tenths of Jamie Culhane, which means that he will have the DRS on him, and he'll probably be within 4 tenths on the activation line, which will give him the opportunity to get past that racing point. And what does... Oh,
Culhane's lost it.
Me! Jamie's lost it!
That was pressure.
That was pressure, definitely. So that was somewhat unfortunate, but that's exactly what happens. Lost it out of 9,
just
10.
I was just seconds away from saying, you know, the pressure is really piling up on Jamie Culhane now as he sort of approaches turn 10. He didn't quite make it as far as 10.
No, he did not. So Jamie Culhane succumbs to the pressure. Laid down a bit too much power as he was coming round 9 into 10. Spun the car into the barrier. Front wheels out. Race over. So Marcel Dronig now is into the pits. So did he get some damage from... No, he couldn't have done. Did he get? I
No,
don't think so. No, he's just coming through his own pit
his
stop.
tyres are just 10, 11.
Yeah.
10, 11 laps old. This would be on to the mediums. This would be his 4th pit stop, I think, for Dronig.
Now, John Donkel is up into P5. He's 21 seconds, nearly 22 seconds now he is, behind Hans van der Berg. Those hards have worked for him, it's got to be said. He's actually got ahead of Damie Hartman, who also has gone on to the hards. So Damie clearly not any choice on his tyres. He's had to go on to the hard compound tyres. John Dunkel, on the other hand, did choose to go onto these hard tyres. But this is still difficult. I mean, he's going to have to work hard to maintain that 5th place, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, these tyres. I'm not entirely convinced how far, or entirely sure how far these tyres will actually go. Still another 20 laps of this race to do. I know I said earlier on, he'll be looking to try and do the one stop when he had to come in at the end of lap 1 for a new wing. We'll see what sort of condition, what his lap times are like in the last 10 laps or so. He may opt to come in for the softs.
I think he will.
Remember we said,
I think 34 laps.
I think we said earlier on actually he was going to pit about lap 46, 47.
Yeah.
Onto the soft tyres. I think he was trying to get within 10 laps range.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think he is. And to be fair, his tyres aren't looking too bad. He's got wear certainly on the outside
rear
of
rear left.
And
left
two fronts. So I don't know. I don't think he'll be able to go another 10 laps. Actually, he's feathering that gas pedal at the moment as he's coming round 8 and 9 into 10, using the full width of the track. I don't know if he's going to be able to go another 10 laps on these tyres. And Zander Hermans has left the session. What's going on? He's disconnected. So he is still in there, but it will be his AI. Now the AI is not as fast as the real drivers, so could be an opportunity here for Van der Berg.
Now, Van der Berg was 12 seconds behind when Hermans lost connection. So we'll see what he is by the time he rejoins.
Hopefully re-establishes
the gap
connection,
is.
yeah. And he's back in again. And Van der Berg's taken nearly 3 seconds out of him, actually, in that short space of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the default AI when you disconnect is 40, and there's nothing you can do about that. It's always 40 for a disconnected driver.
Well, Hans van der Berg has closed down that bit more. He's actually now under 7 seconds behind Zander Hermans. So has that inspired him to light it up and close down that gap even further, do you think?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I said earlier on, it would be a hard battle for him to actually get that podium, but I think that's just gifted him an opportunity. It's just up to him now whether he can take it.
And Van der Berg can actually now see Zander Hermans ahead of him. So he's got him in his sights, and it's amazing how much of a difference that can make to you, isn't it? Once you actually see that car. It's one thing being told he's, 3 seconds down the road, but when you see them, it puts a different complexion on it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it can really inspire the driver to sort of put the lap times in. But it could also have the opposite effect. And you could be trying that much harder, and you could lose concentration by putting pressure on yourself to put in the fast lap times.
Well, we know that Hans van der Berg is a good speed man, and he nearly had a bit of a wobble out of 16 as he was laying the power down. So he's clearly determined. I can imagine he's sitting there, both hands gripped vice-like to the wheel. And I just hope he's got some chewing gum, because otherwise he's going to be visiting the dentist, I should think.
He's very good, Eddie.
So he's coming round 7 now into 8, and he's now 4.2 seconds off the back of Zander Hermans. Mm-hmm. He is eating into that gap. He is pushing as hard as he possibly can here. Sander
Yeah,
Hermans.
Strapper's in the pit for his final stop. He's on the medium tyres for the last 18 laps.
This is really interesting now. But interestingly enough, John Dunkel is keeping that gap, albeit 21 seconds. He is keeping that gap to Van der Berg. He's not losing time, interestingly.
Yeah, that's right. And also, the driver behind him is also on hard tyres. It might be the reigning champion, but he's on the same tyre compound. So
yeah, but Hartmann is going to the end, isn't he, on those hard compound tyres?
Yes, he is. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that Donkel won't have to push sort of too hard. He can try and focus on maintaining the tyre condition a bit more, rather than worrying about a driver on soft tyres behind him catching him. So he's going to have to drive that bit harder.
That's true. So he needs to push. But how much more can he push? As I said, I didn't think those tyres were going to go another 10 laps. Just watching him around that first opening sector, and certainly good on the exit. Looks good on the execution. I just want to see how much power he's actually putting down. So round 6 into 7.
Donkel set his best lap of the race.
Yeah, I was about to say.
3 laps to go.
It does look like he's hit a bit of a sweet spot. Now, the problem is, though, historically, these harder compound tyres do have a sweet spot. Well, 2 spots, generally in the mid, but also towards the end of the lifetime, and then suddenly they just drop like a rock off a 200-foot cliff. Do you think that's the point we're at?
I don't think we're quite there yet. I think a few more laps, 5 more laps or so, and I think they'll just, I wouldn't say disintegrate, but yeah.
I think they're going to give way within the next lap or 2, actually. We will see. We will undoubtedly find out. So John Donkel, he's in P5.
I think nonetheless, whatever happens to John, I think this can be considered a great recovery drive. Bearing in mind he did have that incident on lap 1. I think even if he does need to pit, he'll still be. He may be fighting for P7.
Yeah,
but,
I maintain he's gonna. I still think he's going to be finishing P6. And as you say, good recovery certainly. Although I still feel that he would have been better going on to a medium and possibly going on to a soft and then onto a medium and then soft, or soft then onto the hard maybe. If he was going to go onto the hard, maybe just go a little bit further in. So I'll just question that, going on that hard tyre, compound tyre so early. But time will tell. Time will tell. He's currently in P5. Davey Hartmann in the Toro Rosso is in P6. He's 7.3 seconds behind Don Donkel. Peter Phillips, he's in Davey Hartmann's in P6. Peter Phillips is in P7. He's 12.5 seconds off the back of Davey Hartmann. Marcel Dronig, though, poor old Marcel Dronig, he's now down in P8. And, he's on 5-lap mediums. That will take him to the end, but it's not going to help him a great deal, is it? I mean, he might get up to P7, P6. He's actually going to be the man that is more likely to be challenging John Donkel, actually.
Yeah, could well be. I think what Marcel needs to take away from this race is that the positives that we saw in the sort of the first half, where he was battling with the front runners for the first an opportunity when his teammate let him pass to try and catch guys in the head. Maybe tried a bit too hard and dropped back behind his teammate. But then his second stint was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he as I said, he was setting laps that were 2.5 seconds faster than anybody else on the track. Okay, he was on the soft tyre, but that tyre is only 7 or 8 tenths faster than the medium. So yeah, he was rapid in that middle stint. Then it was as soon as he come in for on the mediums, that outlap is when he effectively the first normal lap because it was at turn 2 where he spun the car.
Yeah.
And everything up to that point, that to me shows, those are the signs of a race-winning driver, and I think it's exciting to see him sort of develop in that way because it's not a name we normally see, topping lap times and being up there with the front guys.
Yeah, I think season 6 is definitely going to be his season. I'm just going to cut there to Stappers is in P9 again. Solid race. He's in the middle of the field of the championship at the moment. He's in the midfield here. I think he's going to be a strong midfield contender for this season. But I think you're right. It's going to be when his time will come. It's just it will all fall together. But again, I think a lot of it boils down to practice. So I know that Droning's been doing a lot more practice this season. So it's just you cannot compensate for practice, really.
No, you can't. The way that he's driving reminds me of Sander Hermans from last season. It's that same type of, you can see the potential, but he's not quite there yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And we're just on board with Urshan in the McLaren. And McLaren's such a fantastic opportunity start here that they had, but then it just all went horribly long. I mean, Urshan had that issue, obviously, with contact on the opening lap. And then Dembrain going on to the hard... was he on the hard compound tyre? No, he wasn't. He was on the mediums, wasn't he? But he just didn't seem to be. He just didn't seem to be sitting well, did he? He's just something just was not right. It wasn't classic Dembrain, and the car just did not seem to be reacting well to him.
No, I don't quite know what the problem was with the Brain's car. It was actually the hard tyre. Yeah, he was on the.
He was on the hard tyre.
Started on the softs. And then went on to the hard. But no, not too sure there. Very unusual for the Brain.
Indeed, but Urshan, at the very least, will be picking up a championship point. Now, what do you do here? I mean, he's 6 laps in, 13 laps remaining. He can certainly go to the end of this race. He's got 1 point. I've got to be honest, I think he's going to be... he might catch Stappers, there's a good possibility, but I'm wondering if he's just not worth him coming in 5 laps or 2 laps from the end and getting a set of softs on and going for that fastest lap and at least doubling his points.
Yep, that's a definitely a viable option. Yeah, I'll do it unless he feels he can make that 9-second gap to Stappers.
He's got time to make the decision. 12 laps now remaining. If he gets, say, to lap 51 and it's not a considerable difference, it's worth coming in, going onto those softs and trying to set the fastest lap.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Sander Hermans has come in and gone on to softs.
Lap. Yeah, I was just about to say, Sander Hermans, he'll be going for fastest laps, surely. Vanderberg's in now as well from P3.
Well, they'll have a lighter fuel load. Now is the time to do it. And Donkel does stay out, lap 44. So at this moment in time, he's going to our original thought process as to how long he's going to stay out for. So this is the window now. The next 2 or 3 laps, I would suspect. Stays out. Goes on to lap 45, 42 laps on those hard compound tyres. But Damie Hartman, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Damie Hartman is closing on him quite rapidly now.
Damie's just actually set his fastest lap of the race, 37.4 on that last lap. That's a second and a half faster than John.
So this is important for Damie to get past John Donkel on the track. I mean, John Donkel will be coming in, but if he can get past him on the track, it's a lot better for him, isn't it?
Yeah, Yeah, because it means he's ahead either way. I think that's just a matter of time. He's only 2 seconds behind. He's catching rapidly. And there's still, 12 and a half laps of this race to go. So
Yeah, but it all depends when Donkel comes in. So Donkel, I'm sure, is aware that he doesn't want to let Hartmann pass him. So could that get him to maybe come in a little bit before he wants to? But again, he's in that window, isn't he? So it's not going to make too much of a difference.
No, that's right. And Donkel isn't really. Donkel shouldn't be thinking of Damie, because Damie will get past him either way. Whether he pits or doesn't pit, Damie will be going past him because of the difference in the tyre wear. I think John needs to think about Peter Phillips if he can work his strategy so that he can get ahead of Phillips. I think Donkel should probably come in this lap, which he doesn't. Or possibly the next lap. We said 46, didn't we?
We said between 45 and 47. So, but Sander Hermans just lit up the screens, did the fastest lap. He's 29 seconds off the back of Nicky Visser, and in the meantime, Williamson, which I didn't spot, I do apologise, has taken the place from Visser, hasn't he?
He has. He's retaken it. I wonder if that was given back to him as a thank you for earlier on in the race.
Well, it could well be. There's 11 laps remaining. This is F1 tonight, Netherlands, and Visser gets past him, and that's it. Williamson just let him past again into 14.
Yeah, I know what they're doing. They're giving each other a DRS. Yeah, tag teaming down the back straight. Oh, Williamson's in the pit.
Williamson's in the pit.
He's 30 seconds ahead. Yeah, he's 30 seconds ahead. He's going for fastest lap.
Yeah. So
soft
Williamson
tyres.
Into the pits, onto the softs. Visser now, as he's rightly saying, he's going to be 30 seconds down the road to his teammate. So now the question is, does Visser come in at the end of this lap? I think Visser will be coming in at the end of this lap, In fact, I'm certain of it. So Visser will be coming in, I'm sure, at the end of this lap.
Yeah, it would make sense. He can do 4 more laps on those.
And Damie Hartmann just made the move in 14 on John Donkel, but went too deep. And Donkel gets ahead of him, but he's in tight again behind him. Donkel into the pits. Oh, nearly hits the wall there going into the pits. So Donkel into the pits. Hartmann moves up into that P5 place, but nearly got past him.
Yeah, 44 laps on those hard tyres, John did.
Yeah. So it was exactly in the window we said, lap 46. So he's gone on to the softs. Peter Phillips, he's moved up into P6. I should suspect that John Donkel is going to be challenging him very soon. So he will be looking at P6 place. Damie Hartmann, P5. Hans van der Berg is currently P4. He's on a nice fresh set of soft tyres. He's 6 seconds off the back of Sander Hermans, who just did the fastest lap. So I think Hans van der Berg's opportunity of getting on that podium are pretty much gone now, actually, unless something happens ahead of him.
Yeah, I did say earlier on he'd have a bit of a tough fight on his hands to try and get past Hermans. Hermans did have that disconnection issue, lost a good chunk of time. When he rejoined, he was some 4 seconds ahead of van der Berg. But I think he's managed to sort of pull out the gap again. What we're up to now, 6.5 seconds. So, it's back safely in Hermans' hands.
Yeah, and indeed, John Donkel, in the meantime, has actually been overtaken by Peter Phillips. That we know, obviously, because Donkel came into the pits. He came out behind him, but he's been overtaken by him. But he's now 9 seconds down the road. Should be doable, though. I should think Donkel should be able to close him down, but it's a question of how much. It's going to be interesting. And Dronig is only just under 3 seconds now off the back of John Donkel. Now the question is can Dronig close down to Donkel? Because we said that we were probably going to see a fight between these two. But obviously Dronig is on those medium tyres. Do you think he's going to be able to close down to Donkel? I mean, he seems to be.
In a word, no.
Right. Okay.
I wouldn't have thought so. Those medium tyres are going to be, when they're brand new, they're sort of 6/10 slower than the soft tyre. The fact that they're at half their sort of expected life already, to me that should say about a second a lap difference. And indeed, John Dongle set the fastest first sector of the race.
Yeah. Only to be expected, obviously, on those self-confident. And Visser, indeed, did come in on that 46.
Well, Williamson, 35.1. That is the fastest lap of the race so far, and he's only a tenth behind his teammate as well.
So they are very close now. Now, are we going to see these Red Bulls fighting it out now, do you think? Do you think now it's okay, no more team orders, let's go for it?
If I was a neutral fan, I would say I hope so. But I'm not, because I'm driving for Red Bull myself.
Yeah, that's true.
I want them to finish 1-2.
Yeah, what we don't want to see is wipe each other out, which has been known in Red Bull history, in the real world, certainly.
Yep, it has indeed.
John Dunkel's the fastest at 134.5.
Wow.
Now that is fast.
6/10 faster than Boy. And Boy was assisted.
Yeah. Yeah, that is certainly shifting. But obviously these laps should get faster now. And Boy Williamson very close in to his teammate. Is he going to take advantage of the DRS, I wonder, down to turn 14? Does pull out, says I'm here. Pulls out again. Yeah, I'm still here. Nicky Visser, I think, fully aware where his teammate is. But Boy Williamson just making sure he can see him. It's like giving a bit of motherly reassurance, isn't it? Don't worry, dear. You go on. I'm here. Nicky Visser, look at that, 134.2.
Wow. Yeah. And a 34.4 as well from Boy.
Wow.
In that lap as well.
Yeah, so they are certainly moving. Sander Hermans, though, I've got to say, he's looking solid for that P3 position, and very well deserved. This man is really coming alive now, isn't he?
Yeah, one in Australia, and again another podium here in China. That's 2 out of 3 on the podium. That's not too bad at all.
Well, he's currently running second in the championship. Obviously, he won't be because Nicky Visser will actually be leading the championship because Basden Brain has gone out. So I think actually Sander Hermans will still be in that P2 position. Yeah, he will be. So he will maintain that P2 position if they stay as they are until the close of this race. And there are only 7 laps remaining. So let's quickly go through this. Remind ourselves where we are. We've got Nicky Visser in the Red Bull. He's currently P1. His teammate, Boy Williamson, is 1.4 seconds off the back of him in P2. P3 is Sander Hermans in the Rocket Williams. He's 7.2 seconds behind the Red Bull guys ahead of him. Then you've got Hans van der Berg. He's currently in P4 in the Toro Rosso. 5 seconds off the back of Sander Hermans. Then we've got a bit of a gap to Damie Hartman in the second Toro Rosso. He's in P5. Then Peter Phillips is in P6 in the Haas. John Donkel in the Ferrari is now starting to bear down on Peter Phillips. Marcel Dronig in the second Williams is in P8. Mark Stappers in the second Ferrari is in P9, and Guido Urshan, the remaining McLaren, is in P10. And he's still out there. He's going to go mediums, I think, to the end. He might come in and go onto those softs. But John Donkel, he's now right on the back of Peter Phillips as they come down into one. And it's important for Donkel to get past Phillips, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. You said, didn't you, earlier on that he may be battling for P6 with Phillips.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, he needs to concentrate more on Phillips than on Hartman, and that's what he's done, and that's what we're seeing now.
Oh, A little bit deep
Late on the break there, Bill.
Definitely trying to do a bit of late braking. Didn't quite pan out the way he wanted. But I've got to say, Phillips solid, maintaining his line. He doesn't look like he's getting phased by the fact that he's got that red Ferrari bearing down on him.
No, it doesn't at all. Well, I've actually raced with Peter Phillips in some of the sort of F1 Tonight UK test races, and yeah, he's absolutely a competent driver. Good to see him up as as high as P6.
It's a fantastic result for him.
Yeah, it does frequently score points. But yeah, this is certainly one of his best performances I remember in sort of recent times.
Well, it's important for him because, I mean, it's a difference between 8 and 6 points. Oh, and he goes a little bit deep out there. Gives Donkel the opportunity to be right on his tail now. He's got the DRS. He's going to make the move. But there's the Haas, though, still fighting. Got to say, Phillips is still fighting, but Donkel gets past him. So Phillips drops down to 7. So he'll be picking up 6 points as opposed to 8. He'll be a little bit frustrated by that. We still might see him try and come back, but I don't think there's an awful lot he can do on those 18-lap-old mediums.
No, not really. Not on this stage. It's kind of out of his hands now, unfortunately.
So John Donkel moves up to P6.
Oh, Sander Hermans has gone.
Sander Hermans is out.
Out from P3.
Sander Hermans has crashed out from P3.
Going to get a podium.
That was on turn. I bet you that was round 11-12 here. We're on board with his teammate.
See the yellow flags.
Yeah, there he is on the right-hand side
there. He
there.
is on the.
Yeah. So, Sander Hermans. Whoa, how annoying is that for Sander Hermans? Because he was really going to pick up some great points there and maintain his second place, but now that's it. He drops down. I think he'll be dropping down probably to P4. But Dami Hartman, well, he's now moved up to P4. Hans van der Berg, his teammate, is in P3.
It's all Honda power, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, Sander Hermans there. Marcel Dronig's teammate in the Rocket Williams, looking so good. But unfortunately, it hasn't panned out for him. So he's going to be gutted with that, isn't he? Just one little mistake, laid down the power a bit too much, lost it, squirmed, and that was it.
Yeah, it's so easily done, and to do it at such a late stage in the race as well. It's it's going to be devastating for him.
Definitely devastating. So Dronig is in 7. Let's quickly have a look. Reverse order. Guido Urschen will assume P9 in the McLaren. So nice for him. 2 points as opposed to 1. Mark Stappers will be in P8. P7, Marcel Dronig in the Rocket Williams. Peter Phillips in the Haas is in P6. John Donkel in the Ferrari is P5. He's going to try and close down to Dami Hartman, but I think it's going to be a tough ask. 3 laps remaining. He's, unless he can take 3 seconds a lap out, I doubt it. Dami Hartman will be finishing P4 for Toro Rosso. Hans van der Berg, his teammate, will now be on the podium.
You said it was a possibility. I didn't really believe it, but
it's how can I put it? Race experience. You never know. You never ever know what's going to happen until they cross the line, and even when they cross the line, you can still get some right hand sort of coming in and completely wrong-footing you and taking you in the direction that you never expected. We've seen it so many times, especially with accumulation of points. So, anything can happen, as we say, and as is known in F1 commentary, it probably will.
That's right. That's right. I just want to point out as well, actually, both... between the Red Bulls, they've only had 2 warnings between both cars, and both of them are for Nicky. Boys had none.
Wow. Well, I think Red Bull have certainly dominated this China Grand Prix. 3 laps remaining. F1 tonight. You are here for us for season 6, race 3 of the Netherlands League, the Premier Xbox League for F1 tonight. But I don't know, F1 Tonight UK, they're putting in a strong show, aren't they, Adrian?
Yeah, they really are. They built up such a huge following already, and yeah, it's only seems to be getting bigger. More and more sort of interest in the league is building, and a bit of notoriety, and yeah, it's really good, impressive stuff.
15 drivers we started the league with. It looks like we're going to be going into Baku with 20 drivers, and it looks like we're going to have 20 drivers for Netherlands as well. They're currently on 19, but a new recruit coming in, and that will be for Baku this time next week. So make sure that you tune into that. We will be back live on YouTube, and if you're watching this on YouTube, apologies that we weren't able to make the live broadcast, but you can watch it now as we come to the closing stages. 2 laps remaining. Nicky Visser for Red Bull leads the way. Boy Williamson, his teammate, now nearly 5 seconds behind him. Hans van der Berg for Toro Rosso is P3. Dami Hartmann, his teammate, is in P4. John Donkel for Ferrari, well, he's got up to P5 due to the misfortune of Zander Hermans. Equally, Peter Phillips up into P6. Marcel Dronig, Zander Hermans' teammate in the Williams. I'm sure he's going to be gutted for his teammate because he was putting in such a fantastic show there. At least he's going to be picking up some points for the Williams team. Mark Stappers in the Ferrari is in P8. And Guido Urschen in the McLaren is in P9. 2 points for him to finish in that position. Nicky Visser coming round. Turn 6 into 7 now. And again, really, I mean, I'm going to say Nicky, another faultless race from him, really. Yeah, absolutely flawless. Not quite so dominant as it was at Bahrain. It's actually some really good. I don't know, not sure if it was battling or if it was some really good team play. I think it's probably the latter with Boy, but yep, but absolutely faultless from both Red Bulls actually. Yeah, I was going to say Nicky Visser, another sublime race from him, but Boy Williamson as well. I mean, he has put in a blinding race equally. I mean, really, really impressed with Boy in this China Grand Prix.
Yeah, I think he wanted to redeem himself after his sort of awful start in Bahrain. Took pole position and went off at turn 1. And as I said earlier, never really recovered. But he's done here what he was supposed to do there. So very well done to him.
Yeah, definitely great result for Boy Williamson. Very, very well driven. He's now starting his final lap. He will be looking at second place on that podium. And then Hans van der Berg crosses the line now to start his final lap. He'll be looking at that third place on the podium, and I think he's going to be happy with that, isn't he, van der Berg?
Yep, oh, absolutely. He'll be overjoyed with that. I don't think he really truthfully expected that. But yeah, it's really, really good to see him up on the podium, where he belongs, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely. So Hans van der Berg, he's in P3. P4, Dami Hartmann, as we said, his teammate. John Donkel in the Ferrari, P5. Peter Phillips, P6. Marcel Dronig, Williams, P7. Stappers, Ferrari, P8. Guido Urschen, P9. Let's get now with Nicky Visser as he comes round the final sector. Turn 13. Comes down that start-finish straight. Final sector, final lap. Final set of corners for Nicky Visser for F1 Tonight, Netherlands. Season 6, Race 3. The Chinese Grand Prix here at the Shanghai International Circuit. He comes down the start-finish straight. The checkered flag is waved. Nicky Visser takes the win His teammate, Boy Williamson, will cross the line in P2. Hans van der Berg coming round the penultimate corner now. Round the final turn, onto the start-finish straight, nice and wide round there, making the most of it. Takes P3. Damie Hartmann just coming down now. He will take P4. John Donquil for Ferrari, 5. Peter Phillips for Haas, 6. Marcel Dronig for Rocket Williams, 7. Mark Stappers for Ferrari, 8. Guido Urschen, 9. But the race winner, Nicky Visser, and another convincing win there for Nicky Visser and for Red Bull. Let's not forget his teammate finishing in P2. And yeah, this is a great season opener, isn't it, now?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What a race from Red Bull and from all the drivers, actually. I don't know if you've noticed, Eddie, nobody got any penalties at all in that entire race.
No. Well, that was fantastic to see. Well, this will put Red Bull now, by my calculations, that's 79 championship points.
Yep, scored maximum points there. Got all 44 available points. Used to be 43, of course.
McLaren will be picking up 2, so they'll be on 50. Williams, I think, will be picking up 8 for 6th place. So that'll put them on 49. But this is really important for Red Bull because they really have pulled out an early lead now in this Constructors' Championship. Nicky, very, very happy man indeed, I'm sure. Although this is virtual champagne, I get the feeling that the Asti Spumante or the Prosecco might be coming out in the Visser household. Great result there. Fantastic race. So that was F1 tonight, Netherlands, Season 6, Race 3, the Chinese Grand Prix. And, well, comments, Adrian.
Yeah, a phenomenal race. As I said, it was full of action throughout. We saw what do we see? We saw the Williams is battling with the Red Bulls early on in the race, didn't we? They were all together for a good sort of 10 laps. But ultimately, it was the two Red Bulls that managed to maintain their composure and just get the job done. Great performance from Toro Rosso as well, the sister team, Van der Berg on the podium, and Damie Hartmann started last and finished 4th. For me, that's driver of the day in my book.
Yeah, I've got to say, I totally agree with you. Damie Hartmann there for Toro Rosso, fantastic result. Remember, he started at the back of the grid, P15, had some challenges, but fought through them. Got up to P4, and I totally agree with you. Damie Hartmann for driver of the day. So we will be back here at Shanghai on Tuesday the 17th for the F1 Tonight UK Season 1 Race 3. Make sure you tune into that on Tuesday. And then a week today, we will be at Baku for the Azerbaijani Grand Prix with a full grid of 20 drivers, all things being equal. That's going to be a good one, isn't it, Adrian?
I'm really looking forward to that. Absolutely.
That is going to be fantastic. So we hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, tune in Tuesday the 17th for the Chinese Grand Prix F1 Tonight UK. And then on the 19th for the F1 Tonight Netherlands Baku Grand Prix Azerbaijan. From me, it's good night.
Good night from me.
Good night, everyone.